Hey guys, welcome or welcome back to my kitchen. If you're new, my name is Lisa, and thank you to one of my subscribers for asking me to make this delicious Mayi Moulin. In English, it's considered yellow grits, but the bag will say cornmeal. I'm gonna go into detail so you guys can understand. If you're from the Bahamas like I am, you know we love our grits and tuna. And honey, if you switch out the white grits for this yellow grits, it will change the game for you. That is how delicious this is, and it is so simple to make. As usual, all of the ingredients and the amount that I'm using here will be listed for you in the description box. Like I said before, there is a difference. So we have cornmeal, that is like a powder version. That is for porridge, and I do have a video on my channel on how I make that. Then we have the bigger grain of cornmeal, and we have the finer grain. So this is what the bigger grain looks like, okay? So it looks like this. It's pretty thick, and this one will require a lot more mixing for you to get a nice creamy texture at the end. If you're going to be using this big version of cornmeal to make your yellow grits, I would suggest this, and it works every time. You have to tremper, meaning soak your cornmeal in water. Overnight is the best result. But if you can't wait, if you want to let it soak for about 5 to 6 hours, I would say at least 6 hours, it will give you a better result at the end. If not, if you just cook it the way I'm going to show you now, and you're using the bigger grain of cornmeal, it's going to be so hard to get soft. You're going to have to keep mixing and mixing and mixing. You're going to have to get ready to do some arm exercise, okay? So I'm giving you guys the ultimate trick on cooking this. All you have to do is let your cornmeal sit in water overnight, or at least a minimum of 6 hours. It's going to be a lot more finer, and that is going to help for the cornmeal to cook quicker. Now, this is the finer cornmeal, okay? And this is what I'm using today to make this grits. All right, so just follow the directions. And like I said, if you're using the big green, you do the same exact steps, but you just have to make sure you soak it overnight or up to 6 hours for you to get the best results. So let's get to the cooking. We're starting off with some oil, and we're going to put some fresh garlic. Now you have to wash the garlic, okay? We're going to saute the garlic in there, but it cannot burn. This recipe does not call for any burnt garlic. So you have to sit there and watch it. If you cook, you know that garlic burns really quick. If you don't want to use fresh garlic, using the powder gives you the same exact results. I personally am a lover of garlic, so I'm using this much garlic and fresh garlic to get a stronger taste. But you can use the ground garlic powder, and it's going to give you the same result. The only thing you're going to do different is, instead of starting with oil and fresh garlic, you will just put your water in, then you'll put the garlic powder and your butter, and you let that boil. Okay, there's no need to saute your garlic if you're using a powder form. I hope that makes sense. I'm going to add in my water. This recipe calls for 4 cups of water to 1 cup of cornmeal. After I put my water in, I'm going to let that get to a boil, and as that's getting to a boil, I'm going to rinse my cornmeal. You have to rinse your cornmeal. I rinse it about 2 to 3 times. If it's the thicker one, I do 3, but the finer one, 2 times is just fine. And what you're looking for when you're rinsing it, it's going to turn into like a cloudy looking water, and you're going to see a lot of like fine little white floating on top of the water. That is what you're looking for right here. This is exactly what you're looking for, and you want to let all of that out, and then you're going to add some more water, And if you see these like big black pieces, you can use your hand and just pick them out. I normally do that. Then you give it another rinse and drain that, and we're good to go. So now that my water has come to a boil, I'm going to add in my salt now and my butter. After I add in my salt and butter, I am going to let it melt down for about 5 minutes. And then I'm going to add in my cornmeal. Okay, so as I'm adding in my cornmeal, I am using a whisk because when you're doing mayi, you have to whisk it. If you use the whisk to mix it, it's going to give you that smooth, creamy texture. Okay, that's what you need. If you just let it cook like this, it's going to be like a whole bunch of balls. Like it's going to be chunks of balls in there, and you don't want that. Okay, so you want to definitely whisk it. And I have my stove on a medium to high heat now. As it mixes for about 5 minutes only. Okay, after 5 minutes, you want to bring your heat down to medium and whisk it from time to time until the water is dissolved to a minimum. When the water gets to a minimum, I'm going to add a little more butter, okay? Then I'm going to whisk it a little more, and then I will cover it and put it on a low heat and let that cook with the cover on it for 30 minutes. In between the 30 minutes, every 10 minutes or so, I go and I give it a nice whisk just to ensure that it doesn't burn at the bottom. This is very fragile. After 30 minutes, this is what your Mayi Moulin should look like. It should be nice and thick and creamy. You want to serve this very hot because after it cools down, it just doesn't go back to this texture. So you want to serve it nice and hot. You can add beans, you can add shrimp, you can add whatever you want into your Mayi Moulin, but this recipe is just a simple, plain yellow grits, nothing else added to it. It's so delicious. You can put anything on top of it to eat it or on the side, or you can simply eat it like this. You can also eat it with some sauce and avocado. That's really good with it. You can eat it however you please, but being from the Bahamas, I love to have mine with tuna. Tuna and grits is, oh, it is so delicious. If you've never tried it, I hope you love this video enough to stick around by subscribing. In the upcoming videos, I will definitely show you how I make this delicious tuna, and the link to this video will also be in the description box below. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you a part of my family here on YouTube, and I will love to help you make these delicious, mouth-watering meals for yourself and your family. Bon appétit!